Welcome to another episode of Punch TV. Well, it's November, starting to get a little colder, starting to think about those hobbies that keep us indoors. So today we are going to be talking about Lego. It is a passion of a lot of the Punch cast and crew. So you're gonna see us build some Lego today, and we're also gonna talk to one of the members of the Saskatchewan Lego Users Group, Tom, and he's gonna bring in some of his creations, which is really, really awesome. But before we do that, there's another big event that is happening here in November, and that is the new Harry Potter Empire movie, which is Fantastic Beasts. And so Craig is here with me, and we're going to talk a little bit about sort of the whole franchise of Harry Potter and which ones are the good ones, which ones are the not so good ones, and what we're most looking forward to for the new film. So Craig, take it away.
Right. Well, Harry Potter, for me, I was probably like a little bit older when the phenomenon started, so I don't necessarily have the grip on it that some people might, right? And there was obviously 8 movies in the series, so as you can tell, to quote the Terminator, I have detailed files here to try and keep it all straight in my head. But the good thing about this is I'm able to kind of separate it and look at it each as films and
right.
how they work, as opposed to like from an immense state of fandom. So
I just rewatched them to prepare for our little segment here, and yeah, I was watching them with a critical eye as far as like the creation of the movie as a whole and sort of the formula, rather so much than getting swept up in the magic and the
right.
the spectacle of the whole
thing. And they
thing.
do kind of, like for me, they all kind of bleed into one big long thing. So
they do.
I had to actually separate them and think about each one. So going from worst to best.
Okay.
I think and I say worst, but they're all like okay, right?
They're all good.
Yeah, there's not like a bad one.
No.
But the number 8 is Chamber of Secrets. So not a bad movie per se, but it's really plot heavy, and it's the longest one at 161 minutes, and it's the one that's like most of a slog to get through.
Yep.
Number 7, Deathly Hallows Part 1. To me, this exemplifies everything that's wrong with like Hollywood when they try to adapt these things, where they took the book and then split it into 2,
right.
mostly as a money grab. And you could argue, well, they're trying to tell a longer story, but the problem with Deathly Hallows Part 1 is that it has a nice setup, but then the like back half of the movie is just Ron and Hermione and Harry like walking around arguing with each other, basically.
Yes.
And so you're really put on hold until you can wait for the next movie to come out. Number 6 is Goblet of Fire. Probably when they started taking more of a walk towards adulthood in the movies from the sort of earlier ones.
Right.
Again, the pacing of this movie isn't very good, and thusly it suffers. But there's still some good emotional beats in the like latter half, and obviously the arrival of Voldemort, even if it was kind of anticlimactic, his arrival, I guess. Number 5, Order of the Phoenix. I literally have really nothing to say about this one, as you can tell, because it's kind of in the middle. But your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it gets into that backstory, right? So it kind of delves back more into the mythology of like all the characters that created the school and blah blah blah. The politics of Hogwarts is kind of dealt with a little more here, and I like that. But I can see as like for a kid, not so much action, not as good.
So number 4, Sorcerer's Stone, the first one. Now, I think a lot of people might argue with that, and I know there's a lot of fans that some of them prefer the earlier, more storybook stuff, and some of them like the darker, more mature stuff. I probably do lean way further towards the darker, mature stuff, but I think as the template for a kid series of books that was put out, like this one was well done. It's not flashy, but it also Christopher Columbus was the director, and he is credited with like putting this amazing cast together that we got to watch grow up. So I actually rate that one higher than most people probably.
I agree, and I don't think it's the best one because I think the cast is amazing, and I think that's what makes this franchise work so well, is that you have amazing actors, but a lot of them are just kind of finding their feet. So like Hermione, for example, like she's a little stiff. She's not, got the chops that some of the other, scenesters have. So, it takes a couple of films for them to kind of find their way. And then once they do and it really starts cooking, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think I only read the first couple of books just to see how they held up to the movies. And I think it's a decent adaptation of a great children's book. So number 3, Deathly Hallows Part 2. So if one was all set up, number 2 hits the ground running, and it's a pretty great ending to a long series, and that's a big task for the director David Yates, who had come in a little bit later. But to end something that's arguably as groundbreaking as Star Wars or something like that, and put a finish on a franchise, he did a great job.
Well, and I'm glad to see he's continuing through because he's directing Fantastic Beasts.
Right.
So.
And he did direct like 4 of the movies.
Yeah.
So he directed the bulk of them, basically. Number 2, Half-Blood Prince. This one has a great balance of light and dark. It's the funniest film in the franchise. You start getting these great romantic moments between these like adolescent characters and their love, but it also builds to Dumbledore's death and Snape's betrayal, if we want to call it that, and starts to work in Voldemort's backstory a little. So, you know, I laughed, I cried, I kissed $20 goodbye. And the number 1 Harry Potter for me is probably easily The Prisoner of Azkaban. It can't be like overstated. I think this is where they really like. I mean, Alphonse Cuarón directed it, who also did Gravity, and you know he's an amazing director.
Yeah.
And he was able to take that sort of storybook Chris Columbus vision and start turning it into a darker, more mature thing, changing the color palettes, that kind of stuff. So, and just a great story all around.
And it's Gary Oldman.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, can't get enough of that guy.
No, for sure. So.
He's super awesome. Well, yeah, I think you've pretty much, I would agree with your
I mean,
picks.
people probably might move things around here or there, but I mean...
But it's one of those things you do kind of have to treat it as a whole, because it really just has that giant arc, and it ends up at the place that it ends up. And I'm looking forward to this new version. I mean,
Which is like a prequel, right? It's
it is. It's like
years before Harry Potter was a thing.
And it's set in America,
in New York or whatever,
so it's totally different. And I'm really looking forward to see what Newt Scamander and his adventure in the Americas. So should be good. We'll have to do a review once we get to see it. So.
Excellent.
Check it out. There's new Harry Potter on the horizon. We'll be back right after this.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Hello, lovely ladies and or dudes. My name is Hank, and this month, in celebration of World Kindness Day, I've done something really nice and kind for you. I have gone and spent 2 weeks locked up in a room watching every television show and reading every book that I could to weed out all the bad ones so I can recommend a few for you. So right now on TweetBeat, here are the things that you should be watching and reading this month. In Quarry on Cinemax, a disgraced Marine returns from Vietnam to find a different sort of war at home and in his head. Hashtag assassin, hashtag PTSD. Amy Schumer wrote a book. It's called The Girl with the Lower Back Tattoo. It's a very honest account of some of her life stories. Read it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine is the funniest show on network TV. Now in season 4, Jake and his band of coppers are as crazy as ever, and Holt is still Holt. Did you know that dragons love tacos? Did you know that dragons love taco parties? Read this book by Adam Rubin to find out more. Hashtag spicy salsa. Spicy salsa! So, if you want to stay up to date on the good, the bad, the ugly ducklings of all movies, television shows, comic books, video games, music, maybe you want some ideas of what to put in your holiday wish list. I don't know, that could be fun. Follow at Hank and Kelso and at Shaw Punch TV. That's it for me. My name is Hank, and see you next time on TweetBeat. Spicy salsa.
My name is Tony, and welcome to The Collector. Welcome to The Collector. Today we have a special guest from SLUG. His name is Tom Dreyer, and we're going to talk about Lego, one of my favorite things. But I don't do what Tom does. He does something awesome. Let's see some of his stuff and talk about SLUG. What's SLUG?
SLUG is the Saskatchewan Lego Users Group. It is an adult, they're called adult fans of Lego. They're people who are grown-ups but never actually grew up and still enjoy building, and they mostly make their own creations out of Lego.
So like where do you start in your life? Where did you start building your own creations? Because I buy sets and I build sets, but how do you start making your own creations?
Well, most people start with Lego when they're kids. That's normal. It is a child's toy. Doesn't mean anyone can't use it, but everyone does. So when I was a kid, we used to build these great cities, these great creations, and then you sort of put them in the closet when you get to a certain age, and Lego people refer to these as the dark ages, when you don't use your Lego. And then one day I just came across a big box of Lego in my parents' basement, and I brought it with me to my house, and I started building stuff again, and it was just great.
Okay, so I'm looking at some of your work here is amazing. Like when I just think about like the sets that I buy, they have no real detail compared to what you have going on here. Your pieces are amazing. So do you start off with like a blueprint as to what you're going to be building, or do you like just go right at it and start building stuff?
There's different approaches. Some people have a very specific idea of what they want to build, and they have such an inventory of bricks they can make it. I don't have a lot of bricks, so I tend to look at what I've got, and I have an idea, and I try and find a middle ground. Like this penguin iceberg creation, I had a lot of white bits, and I said I can make an iceberg out of that.
Nice.
And I like penguins, so I made that.
That's even better.
Now this one here, that's kind of blood red, there is a machine like this in the Western Development Museum in Moose Jaw that looks just like it, and I thought it was a really cool looking machine. It's from the 1920s and 30s. It has an airplane propeller on the back, and that's how they drive around the prairies on the snow in the wintertime. So I made one of those. This one is a steampunk creation, which is just a whole genre of make whatever you want, and that I had to accumulate a lot of parts through friends and through the Bricklink, which is an online resource for parts. And then this airplane, I just saw a picture of an airplane like that in a magazine, and I thought I was going to make it, so I did.
Cool. Now tell me about SLUG then. What is your involvement in SLUG?
Well, SLUG is a loose affiliation of like-minded people. There's about 40 of us in the group. Been around since 2009, give or take a couple of months, couple of years. And we meet in either Regina or Saskatoon every couple of months for a social event. We'll trade bricks. We'll do a draft of bricks from different sets. We go to a lot of shows, a lot of train shows to put on exhibits. We have our own annual event, which is called Brixpo, which is hosted at the Western Development Museum in Moose Jaw. And everyone just brings their own creations, and we fill the place up, and thousands of people come and check it out, and it's good fun.
Do you do things, I noticed that sometimes I've heard that there's things for charity and so forth. There's charity events and things that can happen where people get together and build stuff with other people, or is...
Well, we do a lot of collaborative builds,
Yeah.
not necessarily in our group for charity. We have supported a number of charities with,
Yes.
revenue that we've created from our events, but that's not our main focus, but that's certainly something we like to do when we
Yeah.
have the opportunity.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, let's talk about your main focus. Where do you see your work going? Do you break things down and start again, or do you keep your pieces?
Well, there's a sad moment at the end of the season where you have to debuild.
That so sucks.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that.
There's a couple of pieces I'll probably always keep because you just really, really like them. But at some point you run out of bricks.
Yes.
So you need to take them all apart, sort them, because all of the guys and all the girls in our group will have some system of storing all their bricks. It's not just a big bin full of bricks, because you'll spend your whole life looking for that one gray piece. People will have drawers or boxes or cabinets, and there's a system, and you got to resort everything and start over.
You're always building. So it's like not just like building something and buying more bricks. It's always just building with the bricks that you have.
Yeah.
Okay, so one last final question. How do I become involved with SLUG? And how do I start, do you think, building my own product? How would I start building if I have bricks?
Well, you just take what you have and try and create something that you think is interesting or fun or cool. And you'd be surprised how hard it is to get the right amount of bricks to build something.
Yeah.
Because even if you buy a lot of sets at a store, and that's an expensive way to do it, you'll find you don't have enough of the right color pieces or the right shape pieces. So there are online resources like Bricklink, like I said, where you can get access to any piece in any color for a reasonable price. And you just accumulate till you get enough to build what you want. And as far as getting involved with SLUG, I would say the best way to start is to go either to Brixpo in the summer in Moose Jaw, or go to one of the train shows that they have in Prince Albert or Regina or Saskatoon. There's a show coming up in Estevan called Brickery, which is at the end of November. There'll be a lot of cool displays down there if that's the part of the province you're in. Talk to some of the people there. We're all quite friendly, except for Caleb. And you might find that something you're interested in. Mostly we do our own creations, so it's kind of specialized group of people, but anyone is welcome to participate if you want to get involved.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming, Tom. That's
Okay,
amazing.
Tony.
We all love Lego in the studio here, and we're very happy that you came and showed your stuff. Thank you very much.
You bet.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Welcome to the first ever Eggo competition on Punch TV.
Jody, it's Lego.
I have not prepared properly for this. Well, you are going down. I don't care what you guys do. You're gonna face off. 10 minutes. These two have to build whatever is in this package. You ready?
I don't know. I don't know if I am.
Okay.
I'm ready.
On your marks. Get set. Go. I'm gonna channel my inner 11 to get through this stack.
You have to pay for those. Stop right there. Thief! Thief!
Okay,
Oh my god.
cutlery is
I don't
like
think
not
there's
my-
enough pieces here. I think I'm missing the pieces that I need. There's a lot of heavy breathing coming over here.
Did you know
I seriously
that
lost
Eggos
teeth.
just turn to a baseball in your mouth and you stuff one in on its own?
Tell me about it.
Shouldn't you be building your Lego?
What? I'm so far ahead of you.
So what are you guys building anyway?
It's a vehicle of some kind.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want me to get that for you? It'll be sticky.
Oh,
Is that a scorpion?
Hank, what happened?
It looks like a scorpion. I don't know what a scorpion has to do with a vehicle, but
That is definitely a scorpion. Maybe it's the hood ornament.
What's this?
There's waffle for you, Tony.
My hands are shaking.
it's intense.
I'm very upset.
Maybe your blood sugar is low.
Maybe it is.
Oh, fail.
Hey, there's this little scorpion here.
There is a scorpion.
Where
Isn't
were
he
you like
cool?
5 minutes
Ah.
ago or 3 minutes ago?
Concentrating.
Look, it's a Takego.
Okay, we're having a no pants party here. This guy's got no pants. No pants party. Doesn't.
If we had tablecloths, we could have a no pants party. No, actually, yeah, you have an apron on,
Yeah.
so you're covered. You're good. How's it coming along? Ooh.
Ooh, pretty good, pretty
like
good.
that.
Yeah, isn't that neat?
How are you feeling over there, Cassie? You feel like you're almost done?
Yes.
Yeah?
Feeling like, yeah.
We're just gonna watch you for a while.
Oh, I found his pants.
Oh my God, Hank is done, and there's 25 seconds left.
Ta-da!
Oh no!
I don't know if it's right.
Hero. What do
but
you mean right? It doesn't have the wheels, so the guy's holding it up, and this guy's gonna come and fix it. He's got all the tools up here.
Oh, I see what you've done. That's very clever.
See? Thank you.
Oh, you got nothing to worry about, Kathy.
10, 9.
So I think there's points for speed, and there's also points for accuracy, and points for creativity. Time is up. Hands down. It gives me great pleasure to announce that Kathy won round 1. I don't feel good. I ate too many waffles. I'm not eating any more waffles, but we have 2 new contenders who are going to build upon the set. So Tony and Eric, we made some modifications to make it fair so that everybody has the same palette to work on. So you've got 10 minutes, gentlemen. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, on your marks, get set, go. Lego on.
Dry hands.
Wet waffle. So what is in this bag? What's happening?
It's the end. It's the second bag of the one they started earlier. So
Okay.
it's pretty much just a continuation of what they were doing. It was the cheaper way to go.
And faster. And faster.
Yeah, sure.
Does anyone need a waffle? No?
No.
No takers?
You're really distracting me though.
Are the wheels rubber?
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
You can
Oh yeah.
throw one of those on if you want.
Lego my ego. I don't want to have dessert when I wake up in the morning. It's kind of disgusting.
It's true. You're having, the other day I had, this has nothing to do with waffles, but the other day I had pancakes.
Yeah.
And it's like having basically a cake for breakfast. It's like
Cake.
Exactly.
It's
and
cake.
How can anybody get through the day? That's like 3,000 calories for breakfast. How can you live like that?
If you're like Michael Phelps
Yeah.
and you need like a lot of caloric intake.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, they're okay. I have a Mickey Mouse waffle maker at home,
Yeah.
and it makes it in the shape of Mickey's head, and then you put the syrup like in his like ears and face and stuff. It's pretty awesome. I like making them, but I don't like eating them. But I will eat them. Like, obviously, I make a grand sacrifice for the show, for our viewers. And now I feel really sorry for myself.
Oh, I figured it out.
Woo!
Like, that was so hard. What is happening? Why isn't that working? This goes here?
Wait, what? He's
Why
going
is this not working?
Well, read the instructions.
I have the instructions, it's just not right.
Oh.
Oh no. What?
Look, I'm getting married to the Michelin Man.
Get cheap winter tires at least.
I wonder if, like,
Possible to
you
get
know how
hurt.
they, like, doctors recommend, like, doing puzzles and stuff like that to keep your brain active so you don't, like, get dementia, Alzheimer's
I gotta like
kind
get
of stuff.
like a longer fingernail or something.
I wonder if Lego would fall into that category.
I think that.
Because I think you actually really do have to think,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
problem
think,
solve to figure out spatially how things go together.
yeah, I think it would actually help without a doubt. If I was smarter, yeah, it would definitely help me.
So Eric, you can do it. Finish up. Get your thing built. Go Tony.
What? For both of us.
Yes, I can. I can do whatever I want.
Yes. All right. I'm on that green thing now.
All right, 5, 4, 3, 2,
I got at least
1.
one tire on.
Stop. Urge.
I got a tire.
Okay, you actually could drag that with a motor. It has a wheel on it. Yours has no wheels.
I panicked and I put the last one on.
That's good.
Man.
Yeah.
What number did you get up to?
59, and then before the timer ran out, I just slapped on a wheel so it could move.
There you go.
I only got to 48, 49. I'm on 49.
Good job, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that Eric wins this round.
I think so.
Okay, next round is gonna be Kathy versus Eric, the ultimate showdown. Well, we are down to the last two competitors. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of Punch TV to find out who will be crowned champion of Lego. Will it be Kathy? Will it be Eric? What do you got to say about your competitor?
You're going down for all the Lego I ever stepped on in your room.
Not likely. You're going down for all the Lego you sucked up with the vacuum.
A little family bitterness happening. You do not want to miss this. Be sure to tune in to our holiday special to see who reigns supreme.
Punch TV is brought to you in part by Amazing Stories, providing Saskatoon with comics, games, toys, graphic novels, t-shirts, and more for over 22 years. Online at AmazingStoriesComics.com, in person on 8th Street in Saskatoon.
Well, thank you for joining us for another episode of Punch TV. A big thank you to Tom Dreyer for joining us and showing off his beautiful Lego, and I hope you had as much fun as we did building some Lego today. Our next episode is our holiday special, so an extra big slice of sweetness is coming your way. And we would love to see some of your past memories of geeky Christmases or those nerdy moments where you might have opened your favorite present that shaped your life for culture and toydom and all that nostalgia stuff. So send your photos to us. We would love to see them, and we would love to show them off to everybody else here in Punch TV land. Thanks for joining us, and keep your dukes up.
You can eat them frozen if you wanted
They're
to.
wet.
You could. Yeah.
They feel wet.
They are wet.
They feel like wet.
That's why you toast
pieces
them, so
of
they
dough.
basically just dry out. It's a desiccated, pre-cooked waffle.
Just dry it out.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that every time I have waffles. Throw it in the toaster and dry it out, honey.
Dry it out.
Dry it out, because it's wet. Wet
Wet waffle.
waffle.